Okay, so who am I? I'm 37 years old. Uh, been trading Forex now since I would say November, December 2015. Really had a breakout towards the middle of last year. Started working with Forex. Had a couple of good runs with it. I was able to run my account up. I basically took 2,500, ran it up to about 250,000. Withdrew 125,000, then I lost about 100,000, and then I had to build my account back up from 10,000, and then basically from that point on, I was good to go. I mean, as things have progressed now, you'll find that we have over 300 people in the Forex family, and we have multiple mentors now. Most of the mentors that are mentoring in the Forex family are multi-million-dollar traders, so they've done really well for themselves as well. They're also a lot younger than I am. My background, I have a finance and law degree, so I found that it helped in that respect, just to have a basis of what's happening. But at the same time, too, I also played a lot of poker, and that also helped with sort of risk management and understanding gambling. So I've been, gambling since I was 18, 19 years old, played a lot of poker, been successful at it as well. So I found that that also helped in terms of understanding risk management. More importantly, understanding the fact that Forex, like poker, is a long-term thing. It's not something that's going to be get rich. You're not going to get rich quick with it. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be painful. It's going to test you emotionally and mentally, and it also tests your patience. It tests a lot of qualities that I think people underestimate about themselves. And I think we'll go through that in the webinar here today. But the really big thing is, and what I stress, and this is a topic that we talk about here today, is really the mental aspect. And I think that comes with maturity, it comes with life experiences. So I find the people that excel the most here are the people that are the most realistic with themselves. I read a lot of books about trading Forex. We have them available. You'll have access to them as well. So, I mean, they were guides. But I also tell people too, don't read 100 books. You'll find that a lot of books have the same information. But what you're looking to do is take little pieces of that information and putting it together for your puzzle. I find some books help others, and then they don't help someone else. So one person may say this is the greatest book. The other person may say they hated the book. So there's a lot of information there as well. Um, yeah, so, okay, so just a few things here. If you want to ask questions, just type them in there. I see all the questions, so they come to me, and I'll read them out. So people that are asking, if you just type in the question area, you'll be able to see all that. So I do see everything here, and I'm able to answer questions in that little box there. So when you type it at the bottom, you're able to do that. So if you have questions, just type it in that box. You don't talk to everybody else, you talk to me directly. So I'll facilitate that. Okay, so I guess the next thing is, why are you here? That's the question I ask by everybody. Oh yeah, my microphone might just move the way it is just because it's close to where I'm talking. I'm talking on a headset. Um, why do I go by Uncle Ted? My brother has two nieces, so I am an uncle actually, so that's why I do that. And my voice isn't the greatest today either, so there might be that issue too. Okay, so why are you here? I think that's a question that everybody sort of answers themselves when they show up to this. I think the main reason is everybody wants to make money. I think that's important that you do have that idea that there is a possibility for you to make money. Forex is very, very lucrative, and there is an opportunity for you to make money. I've seen people make lots of money. I've seen people lose money. We have people that have come into the groups that have made money within months, and they've made 6 figures, 7 figures. I have people that have been here since my first webinar that are still struggling. It's one of those things, and it's not anybody's fault. And this is the thing too. When when I see people, say, I blew accounts, or, I'm not getting it, it's one of those things. Everyone learns differently. So you're here, you're taking the first step. I don't like to be a motivational speaker, but you've set yourself up and you've shown up here today. I mean, whether you're going to be here for the whole webinar, whether you're going to be here for, part of it, you're watching the recording afterwards, but it is important that you did make this, essentially first step. But the idea is, you've seen my results, you've seen other people in the group's results, so, you've decided, hey, I want to give these guys a shot, and I think that there's an opportunity for me to, you know, somewhat make money, I guess, and somewhat be successful, but also maybe change your outlook on things. I know this has changed my outlook on a lot of things. It's been able to help me, help other people. People always ask me, why I do what I do. There's selfish reasons. I do own a private equity firm now that, the Forex family knows about, and now you guys are part of that family, so you guys know about it as well. We bring traders up. So, as you get more comfortable as a trader, we open an opportunity to you to come trade for the firm. Take part in that when you're good enough. And, there's obviously some requirements and some things that you have to complete. But if you are good enough and that's what something interests you, we open the door for you, and we welcome you with open arms. So, I mean, that's really the reason behind why I do what I do, is maybe a little bit of a control freak, but it allows me then to bring other people that I know that are comfortable into, a bigger arena, the next level. And it's funny because, people always ask me, why do I have to do this webinar before I join the groups? And I do this because it's a process. It allows you to get like a full download of what we're doing here, and, a lot of aspects of what's happening. But more importantly, it makes me know, it allows me to keep people in check. So there's checkpoints. So after this, we're going to place everybody in groups. I'm going to bring in, all our experienced traders into those groups, so that, there's all fresh people there, but then you have people that are able to help you when you have questions, along with myself. So, there's 24-hour, I guess I would say, surveillance in the groups. If you have questions, comments, concerns, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to anybody else. We're here to make sure that you're comfortable. And when I say we, I mean, I treat everybody equal. I like to, if there are traders here, that will help you, that aren't receiving monetary gain. They realize, and this is something you guys will realize too, as you start getting better as a trader, when you start talking about trading, when you're in trading all the time and you're constantly talking strategy, or you're talking charts, or whatever you're doing, you're going to find that that will propel your knowledge, and it'll just reinforce things. So you'll find that you'll end up helping people just because it's helping you in the end. And you're not going to need monetary compensation for it, or maybe you will. I tell people all the time, if you're interested in mentoring after this, and you're comfortable, and you have a track record, and you're able to do things, I mean, there's more than enough people that want mentoring. I mean, I get hundreds of messages a day of people wanting mentoring, and it's more than you have more than an opportunity to go do that as well. So, I mean, there's lots of opportunities, other than just, trading. So you'll have an opportunity to do all that. And like I said, I support everybody that do take on their own students, that do mentorship, that want to do other things. Okay, so there are some questions. I have no apps. I have no experience in gambling. Will this be to my detriment? No. I'm here. I leave Monday 9 to 5. Yeah. Okay. The recorded webinar will be in our vault. Okay. So there you go. All right. So we're going to go through the objectives. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going to happen here, and why we're all here together. Essentially, the objectives of this course, I mean, it's very simple. What I'm trying to do is I'm going to give you education. I don't promise anything, and this is the biggest thing that I stress to everybody is, a lot of people say that the value of what I give is worth more than $400 or $500. And, from my standpoint, and me being cocky, and you'll get to know me, my personality, I agree. People say, why don't you train people one-on-one? You can't afford me. My time is too valuable, and I don't mean that as an ego thing. I mean that as essentially you're going to start asking me questions that if we work together in a collective group, you're going to get them a lot faster than sitting with me one-on-one. Because what the groups allow you to do is to bounce ideas off multiple people. So, I might have one interpretation of a chart or what's happening, but you may find that there's three other people with three different opinions that I didn't even see. And that happens a lot. And I think when you look at one-on-one, and people always want that private one-on-one because they think they're going to get more information, you'll find that working as a group, you also get that. It's really dependent on what group you're working in. And I think that's where people get scared is, they look at a group and they're like, well, people aren't going to participate. Well, it's to your advantage to participate because what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to share knowledge, but everyone else is sharing knowledge. Whether it's a stupid question, a smart question, whether it's a question that's been answered before, we promote that. We promote just ask questions. That's the best thing you can do as a trader is ask why. But, there's also resources. I mean, we have, you'll see towards the end, I'll show you, we have a Google Drive with over 15 gigs of information. There's articles I've written, there's strategies other members have contributed. There is so much information there. I always joke and say if you can't become successful after looking through that vault and taking it upon yourself to read and learn things, you're not cut out to do Forex because there is so many things in there. We have top traders that have done simulations that, we have a simulator there that you can actually do real-time trades on charts from like previous years or, previous times. So you can test your strategies. We have people that have actually gone through and actually done live trading. So there's a lot of information there. And I think, as one of your objectives is to grasp that information, but really dissect it and figure out really what you want to do at the end of the day. It's very, very important that way. Um, my mic keeps chipping in and out. It just might be where I'm sitting. You'll have access to the vault as soon as we finish today. I'll be sending out the link to everybody. Is Forex trading like gambling? I would say it's controlled gambling. The Facebook groups, like I said, I'll send everybody a link and we'll be able to do that, and you'll get access to all that as soon as we're done today. So like I said, it's a process. I do everything all systematically, so don't worry, no one will get left behind. Okay. So here's our agenda for today. So topic one, pretty straightforward. We're going to do an introduction into Forex. Then we'll take a break. Then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the mindset for trading. Then we'll take our meal break. We'll go through technical analysis and charting. We'll go through real life examples that I've done. That's actually pretty interesting. It gives you a chance to figure out where you're at really at that point. We have some guest speakers, so I usually bring on previous traders that have done previous webinars and they'll talk about their experiences. We have special guests, Dave and Wes, who are from Mastermind FX, good friends of mine. They actually talk about institutional trading and how we battle the markets and the banks essentially. Topic 7, are you ready to trade? We go through, building a trading plan, setting up your strategy, what you want to do, and how you're going about doing it. Then we have another question and answer, which will be sort of a wrap up, and then I give the next steps. So there's a question here, why did I choose Forex as your career? Well, it's a freedom. It allows you to do what you want to do, and I mean, it's very lucrative too. Okay, so topic 1, intro to Forex. Oh, sorry. And why do you want to trade Forex? So I think trading Forex is different than trading, like I would say, a stock or a commodity in the sense that you have, an opportunity to, I guess, what's the word? Dial in exactly what you want to do. So a lot of people say to me, why are you successful? I think one of the big keys to success here is dialing in your trading plan and doing the same thing over and over again. And with the Forex markets, they're very predictable. And I don't mean it, that you're going to be able to pick the lottery numbers every week, but what I mean is a lot of times you'll see the same patterns over and over again. They might not be exact, but they might be close enough to what you've seen to see that you can make the same trade over and over again, whether it's a buy position or a sell position. But working with the same currency pairs, things seem to happen at the same times. There's movements at specific periods during the day, so you can capitalize on those things. And as you get better with trading and as you have more experience in front of the charts, you'll find that you'll start to see this and you'll have those aha moments where people say to me, like, when did you realize that this was great? Or, how did you become so consistent? It's really putting the time in front of the charts and understanding what's happening with the charts. I will be going over all these patterns and all these trends and all these little things. We'll talk about all that. It'll be all in here. And also, once again, if I don't touch on this specifically in the webinar, in the chat groups, you'll get, daily analysis, daily, I would say daily charts. People post charts all the time. We talk about, certain time zones, certain time periods. So there's a lot of things that get covered every day. So like this is just the base. I give you a nice base, but then after that, we're going full steam ahead with a lot more information in the chat rooms. And as you get more comfortable, it gets even deeper and even more detailed. People mentioned and have recommended Baby Pip's online school. If I have not read that in full yet, will I still be able to understand the seminar? Yes, you will. You will be able to understand it. I go through the basics all the way to the more advanced. Okay, so do some quick talk about what is Forex. So essentially, what is Forex? The foreign exchange market, once again, often referred to Forex, FX, or currency markets, basically where money is exchanged. It's the largest market in the world. If you look at the New York Stock Exchange, it turns over about $80 billion US a day. The FX market turns over about 5 trillion. Now, it's funny, and people know me as somebody who's, against multi-level marketing or network marketing for Forex. They talk about $5 trillion as in that's what you're available to trade. That's a bit of a stretch, and the reason why I say that is if you go to like your local 7-Eleven or if you're going to the mall to buy something, you're taking part in Forex. But as a trader, you don't have access to that money. It's really, it's a $5 trillion industry in the fact that people are constantly moving money, but you don't have access to $5 trillion. So when you hear people talk about, this $5 trillion a day market, you're not trading in $5 trillion. There's probably a good 3 or 4 trillion, but I mean, I would say there's $5 trillion or $6 trillion you have access to. Really, at the end of the day, it is a market that is a lot bigger than the stock market. It has more liquidity, more volatility, and I mean, it's open essentially 24 hours a day from Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern all the way till Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So you have that opportunity to trade. So there is a lot more opportunity than, say, the regular stock market that's open during business hours, so to speak. Okay, give me a second, guys. I am just going to add somebody into the group. Sorry about that. I just added somebody. Once again, we always have late people showing up into the webinar, so I try and keep going in. The mic keeps cutting off words in the middle of sentences, just a heads up. That is really weird. I hope it doesn't continue. It just might be just the way that the mic is set up and also the way I talk too. Do I trade Fridays? Not necessarily. Okay. Okay, well, I think I'm getting full audio on mine, so it may be just sometimes the connection for the webinar as well, but this records really well too, so it'll be okay. You won't be able to see other people's questions. I'll read them out like I said earlier. And like I said, the mic is running fine because I can see it on my end over here. I got full volume. So it just might be sometimes the connection over the webinar, just the amount of people, things like that. So bear in mind, I'll try and keep going. With practice and chart time, is it reasonable to say one can double an account of any size within 1 month of trading? That is subjective. So here are some questions I guess I'll go through really quick because people ask these questions is, how much money can I make in Forex? You can make as much as you want. You can also lose as much as you want. It's really going to be subjective to your own learning, to what you're doing and to how you're doing it, and really setting up your plan. So, I mean, as we go through a little bit further, we'll talk about that, but it's I have a lot of plans in the Google Drive. We have a lot of documentation, how to build a plan, how to stay on track, things like that. So we're good that way. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about quickly through some terminology. Like I said, these are things that are straightforward in terms of what we're doing, things you're going to be working with. So I guess the first one is a lot. So when you look at people's trades, as we start to go through things, your lot is the contract size that you're trading. So your lot could be essentially it's 1,000 units of currency. So when you look at somebody has like what people look at as like a dollar lot, it's technically not a dollar. It's basically one lot, but it's grouped as 1.00. You have like zero point zero 0.05 lots, zero point 0.1 lots. It's not actually, the specific dollar value, even though it's multiplied that way. It's that the actual correct terminology around it is essentially a dollar is one lot or 10 lots or 100 lots. It's not like $100 lot. People tend to say that they skew a little bit of the terminology, but I'm not going to go through technicalities. If you call it a dollar lot and you're comfortable with that, we all understand what you're talking about. It's not that big of a deal. Um, yes, I will be covering how certain currencies correlate. We will be doing that. So once again, going back, your spread, once again, that's the difference between your bid and your ask price. What you're looking at on your spreads. They tend to change with each broker, and the spreads change based on liquidity, based on who the broker is, based on the time you're trading. So you'll notice, and this is what I tell a lot of people, is you want to trade pairs that are with the most volatility or the most liquidity at that specific time. So you're not looking to trade a Australian currency during the mid afternoon. So you're not going to trade like an Australian pound currency during the North American session, right? Because people in those countries aren't awake, so there's not a lot of activity going on there. What you'll find is you may want to trade your U.S. pairs within the U.S. time frame, your pound pairs within the Euro or London exchange, and then your Asian pairs during the Asian time frame. Obviously, U.S. pairs are probably your strongest, so you have your 6 major pairs, but that's where your spread will come in. If you're trading an exotic pair like New Zealand currency or a Russian currency, your spread's going to be a lot larger. So that means you're going to have a lot more of a price movement for you to be profitable. So you're always looking to trade pairs that have low spreads, that are during those specific time frames, and that you're able to be profitable with. You don't want to jump around currencies just because you see a setup. There's a lot of factors that depend on that. Uh, Okay, so essentially that's what we're going to do. There's a few questions about talking about institutions. We're going to be talking about all that. We're going to talk about all the different pairs, and all the other information as well. I have all that information on when to trade a certain pair at what time and how to do it. It's all going to be presented to you, so don't worry. We're going to have all that. Let's go through just determination. And once again, you're not able to see other people's questions. I read them out, and then I let you know what they are, and I answer them at the same time. Okay, so we're good. Next item would be a pip. And basically what a pip is a pip you count for profit and loss. So it's basically a point of like a percentage almost. So when currency moves a hundredth of a pip, that means it's moving, in your terms, if you're trading trading one lot, it moved one point. So, each pip you move is a point, or, in that case, $1 for you um, in terms of what you're doing. So if I was to trade USD CAD and it moved 10 pips and I was trading on a, I guess, a one lot trade, I've made $10. So 10 pips equals $10 at that point. If I was trading zero point 0.1 lots, it would be $1. If I was trading 0.01 lots, it would be 10 cents. So that's sort of how you'll correlate that. Once again, as you start trading, as you start demo practicing, all this stuff will become very, very clear because everyone will be working with you daily and you'll have all those questions answered. And a lot of people already are doing demo accounts, already clicking buttons. You're looking at what you're doing already. This is more of just, could be a refresher for you or it could be brand new. Is leverage mentioned later on? Yes, we talk about leverage. Who coined PIP? Good question. I don't know that one. Okay, a micro PIP or standard. So it depends on your account size, right? So if you're looking at a standard PIP, it's 10 points. And also if you're looking at a micro PIP, it would be only 1 point. So, you're trading $100 or you're trading $10. That's basically what the difference is at that point. Will you explain the MetaTrader app? Yes, I will. Okay. Would it be based on a pair? All the pairs trade the same way. The value of the pip would change. So sometimes it's worth a little bit more, sometimes it's worth a little bit less. And that's based on the currency exchange rate based on the US dollar. So 10 standard $1 lots would be 100. Yes, that's correct. So if you were trading a standard lot and you had 10 standard lots, that would be 100. That would be 100 pips or 10 or one standard pip, I guess, at that point. Okay. So the next thing we can focus on is a little bit with our broker. So brokers right now, there are lots of different brokers that you can work on. That is where you place your money into the foreign exchange area. So what you're looking at is you're going to sign up with a broker. You're going to have to go through their compliance. They make you fill out a bunch of forms. You do all that information. And what you're doing afterwards is you are going to then deposit money and now you're in the foreign exchange market. But you're going to have to use a trading platform. And there are multiple trading platforms. The majority of people here use MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5. We'll go through that, but that is how you access the foreign exchange market. So essentially what you're doing is you're entering through a broker and then you're going onto your platform and the money will be there on your platform and you'll be able to trade at that point. A lot of people may have come from binary options, which I consider fraudulent, where you're able to trade right on a screen on a website. I don't recommend any broker that allows you to trade on a website. You should really have your own terminal, protect your privacy. You're able to make your own scripts, you're able to make your own edits, and what you're able to do there is you're able to then control everything and you have a little bit more access to that. There's also apps available on your phone. Once again, I don't recommend trading off your phone. I recommend you doing your analysis on your computer, whether it's a laptop or a desktop, and then monitor your trades on the phone. If you have to close them or you have to adjust something, adjust on your phone. Don't just trade off your phone. It's very, very difficult. It's tough between how you actually can execute, the way that the charts look on your phone. It gets skewed. You might not see all the information. You just don't want to, you want to give yourself an edge and you want to put yourself in the best position to win. Okay, so there's a few questions here. What's your best advice from transitioning from 9 to 5 to becoming a full-time trader? Essentially slow and steady, let the money compound and take your time with it and eventually you'll be able to get there. Would I recommend CTrader? Yes, CTrader is an option. It is a more advanced option in terms of the way that it moves. It's a lot newer, the software. There are people that use CTrader, so there are advantages and disadvantages to both, but I don't not recommend one over the other. I'm just more comfortable with MT4, which is MetaTrader 4. Do you recommend safe brokers for large capital? I've heard stories about brokers being funny with large money. I'll talk about some brokers as we go through the slides. I have a relationship with someone who owns a brokerage, and I'll talk about that as well. MT4 has a web app. Yes, it does. But like I said, you always want to trade off your computer. What's the correlation between your broker and your bank account? How do you withdraw money? It all goes through your bank. So when you deposit money, you wire it to your broker. The broker wires it back. Yes, so you need a broker to trade real money. The broker acts as the intermediary to the market. So you basically go through the broker. It'd be like if you're selling your house. You have a real estate agent that sells your house. You can't just go and sell your own house. I mean, I know you can technically because there's private sales, but here you can't just jump into the market. You could if you had enough money, like I mean hundreds of millions of dollars, but at this point you're a retail trader, you have to go through a broker. Do I recommend any brokers? Yes, I do. I'll put them up there. I use that. I say yes with caution. I'll give you advice on how to also vet your brokers. And also in the chat rooms, you'll be able to talk to other people from your areas that have similar brokers and similar experiences. Do you deposit money with your broker with a debit card, credit card, or directly from your bank account? It just depends on what the broker allows you to do. There's multiple options. When you log onto your broker, you'll be able to see those options and you can just choose the one that's best for you. Advantage, disadvantage to USA broker versus Canada and Europe. USA, I'm sorry to say you guys are going to not like me, but the leverage is very low. So it's not, you're going to need a lot more equity to build your account, or your account's going to take slower to build. That's sort of what the issue is with that. There aren't many Canadian brokers, there are more European and Australian brokers. Can I access MetaTrader with CMC markets, or is that different? I don't really know CMC markets that well. You'd have to look at their site. Can you use TD Waterhouse? I don't know offhand. I've never used them personally, but I think there's like you could use Questrade, things like that. They have that option. It just depends on your leverage. How long do you recommend to go demo before we go live? Okay, I'll answer this question now, even though I answer it later. It's essentially when you're consistent over the few months, start with a small account and go from there. What's the most appropriate standard spread for gold during active hours? It varies. You can get a spread at 6 pips, you can get a spread at 13 pips, and those are micro pips. So it really just depends on the time. Can you change your broker after already picking one? Yes, just sign up to another broker. How much do you recommend then for equity? I wouldn't say 10,000. I would say trade smaller first until you're comfortable, then put in larger amounts of money. Can you fund an account via PayPal? Yes, you can. I am based in the US. No, you can't use a European broker. Not too well versed with FX choice. Like I said, there'll be other traders you'll meet. They'll be able to help you with that as well. Yes, we're doing a Q&A afterwards as well. So guys, keep those questions coming later. These are a lot of questions. Like I have a lot of information to pass through, and you guys are asking me just random questions because that's what you think is important. We cover all this. Trust me, I am going to say that there are thousands of questions that you have right now, and I can guarantee you I'm going to cover about 90% of them. So I just, I want you to say that. So like if I ignore some of your questions, it's not because I don't want to, it's just we're going to cover a lot of it. So if there's a question that you think that's not answered, when we get towards the end, then ask it. So write all your questions down. Chances are you'll find them as we go through here. I just want to keep it moving. That's all. So sorry about that. Okay, so what is leverage and margin? So this is the biggest thing that people get confused with. People always talk about, what's the best leverage? You can have leverage from 50 to 1. You can have leverage up to 1,000 to 1. Leverage is good and leverage is bad. And what I mean by this is you're borrowing money. So what happens is the more money you borrow, the less equity, which is your own money, you're using. So a lot of traders, including myself, we use like a 500 to 1 leverage. I've used 100 to 1 before. For me, I had the equity, but I found that, I was more comfortable with 500 to 1. Or there's some people that use 1,000 to 1. There are people that use 50 to 1. Really, what it comes down to is your comfort level. Now, with the lower leverage, your account is not at risk. So in this case, what you're doing is with the higher leverage, it allows you to open more positions because you're now borrowing more money. But what happens is when those positions go the wrong way, a lot more of your equity is taken away. So you can win big and you can lose big. So your risk management really has to be in place. So when we look over here at this example here, what you'll find is, I'll go through it rather quickly with you guys here, is, for example, you have 50 to 1 leverage. It's a 2% margin requirement. So $2,000 of equity is required to purchase $100,000 of currency. So when you look at buying a lot size, so you would have to make sure that you have, that amount available. So if you have a 50 to 1 account and you only have $500, you're not able to purchase the dollar lot. Where if you have a 500 to 1 account and you have $500 in your account, you probably could purchase a single lot. So these are things to keep in mind as you work through leverage and as you decide what you're comfortable with. Now, what I recommend is when you open a demo account, you can adjust the leverage on the demo accounts to see what fits your style. I've always done 500 to 1. I started with that when I moved into IC markets. That was my first broker that I used, and I just got used to the fact that I had to be aware of my risk management. Now on your MetaTrader or your CTrader app, it shows you the leverage that the margin that you're using. So you have a little section there with your equity available, your margin available, and then also the total margin used at that point. So once you go to 0%, you have no more margin left, the broker will automatically start to close positions. Now, you'll never lose more money than what's in your account. So when people talk about blowing accounts, if they had $500 or $5,000, the broker will never come to you and ask for more money. Once your account is blown, it means the account inside what you had there. The broker doesn't lend you more money than what you can afford to pay back. So when people talk about a negative trade, you can have a $5,000 account, and when you go into negatives, you'll lose nothing more than $5,000. So you can empty your account, but there's not going to be a chance where you're going to lose more than $5,000. The broker won't allow you to do that. Now, you can make more than $5,000 on the other end, but you're not able to, lose more than what you have in your account. So, leverage increases both upside and downside risks as the account is now much more sensitive to price movements. So in a standard account, you're looking at, I would say a 0.01 lot equals 10 cents per pip equivalent to your currency. This no matter what leverage you use, leverage affects the amount of margin you need to be able to put up at that trade. So all that means is you're opening a different lot size at that point. So at 100 to 1 leverage, you need $10 to open a 0.01 lot at that point. So as you start to trade, you do more demo, you're going to understand leverage and margin as it comes through. Yeah, so there's a quick question here. Is people were with Pepperstone when they were IROC regulated? So that's Canadian regulations. They're not regulated by IROC anymore, but they're not taking on new Canadian clients. That's probably fine. They probably just grandfather people in, so that's okay. Okay, so let's take a look at an example of leverage, okay? So here we go. So this is, once again, an example. If you don't get it right away, it's okay. We will go through this in the chat groups. You can watch this webinar again. You can write this out. You'll be able to figure that out as you start to trade. As you understand leverage and margin, you'll start to realize, okay, your trading plan, you're going to open 1 or 2 positions only, or maybe 3 or 4 maximum. You'll be able to calculate what percentage of your account you want to use, for that trade. So these are things that you're going to learn as you go, but this is, like I said, just a base to give you an information and an example of how leverage works and how margin works in your account. Really, once you start practicing and once you start working at this, you're going to have a greater grasp on it. I always compare Forex to math. You can look at a math problem like 10 or 12 times, but if you don't actually practice it and you're not actually doing it, it doesn't help you to read it, because you're just going to sit there for the most part and say, I don't understand. You actually have to get in there and actually physically practice it. So, here we go. So let's take a trader with $2,000 in his account. So what that is that's your total equity or your total balance. So equity is basically the money that you own. you buy one lot at 97.50. So you're able to buy, one US dollar buys 97 yen essentially. And the leverage is 100 to 1. So right away, we've used basically $1,000, and you have $1,000 left over. So what happens is if the trade wins, you get that equity back. But if the trade loses, the percentage of what you've lost then is taken into account from the 2,000. Now, once again, we've also talked about here some transaction costs if you're using a commission-based broker or a spread. It just really depends on what the pips are. So you'll always find that your trades start off in negative because you're paying the spread right off the top. So you're never starting in a positive trade. You're always negative, and you have to wait for that trade to become positive. So that's when I say you always want to select pairs with low spreads so that the pair doesn't have to move that much. You're not as much risk because the spread is lower for you to move in that way. So, carrying on, it says, now let's say the trader keeps his same one lot buy at a position of USD JPY. If it moves into your favor, the gains are added to the floating equity. So that allows you then to add more positions if you want, close it in profit, things like that. But if it goes into the negatives or it goes against you, the losses are subtracted to the equity as well. So that's where you start to see your account start to move up or down. Um, if you go too far down into the negatives, you get a margin call. And what that margin call is basically saying that you don't have enough equity in your account to cover this position anymore. The broker automatically closes that position. And once again, as your account starts to move either positive or negative, you can open up bigger positions or smaller positions depending on what's happening at that point. So the question here is, I opened an account with Awanda, got 50 to 1 leverage. Will I have the choice to increase the leverage, or should I look for another broker? The broker dictates the leverage, so if that's 50 to 1, that's the only thing they offer, that's what you're stuck with. So if you wanted more leverage, you would look at another broker at that point. So the final point here is if we move 100 pips in the trader's favor, so we move from $97 to $98, essentially then you'd make $1,000 gain. So basically what you've done is, these are standard pips, so what we're looking at is $10 a pip, so we're moving basically 10 times 100. So if you have a mini account, it would be 1 times 100, so you would make only $100. This is a standard account, so you've basically moved 1,000 mini pips at that point. And that's what most of you'll see. When we use standard pips, that would be 100 standard pips at that point. So you've got basically you've made $1,000, you've made 100% ROI. If it goes the other way, you then lose $1,000. But you can't once again lose more than what's in your account. So this is really a baseline example of what would be happening as you start trading, and you'll see that as you demo or as you move into a live account, you'll see that movement constantly move. Okay, so types of brokers. So this is a question that people ask a lot. We have dealing desk brokers known as market makers, and then non-dealing desk brokers. So what you'll find is there's a lot of internet discussion. You guys have probably read some of this stuff. You'll probably see some things that people have spoken about. People talk about A books and B books. The biggest thing, and this is something that I think a lot of you guys know, is 90% of retail traders lose trading Forex. So you look at this and you're like, wow, so how does the Forex family succeed so well? It's not that we succeed well, and this is the funny part. People always look at the results and they're like, oh, you guys are doing so great. We're managing risk. So if I told you at this point, and I said, if you do the same thing every day and you just make 1% a day, you would be successful. But if you only had $100, 1% of $100 is only $1. That's where the problem comes in. And in section 2, when I start talking about mindsets, this is the reason why retail traders fail. The brokers know that, because brokers know human emotion. Brokers know human psychology. So what they do is they bet against you. And they don't necessarily do anything wrong. I mean, there are examples where brokers have tried to steal money from people in the sense that they'll hammer a position the other way with more money to push it and make you hit your stop loss, like we call stop loss hunting, things like that. But for the most part, they're making money off you. So your $500 account or your $100 account, they don't really care about. They're going to constantly make money. Brokers are always making money. So when they're market makers, they just understand the odds are in their favor that you're not going to be a good trader. And that's where people always say, well, Forex is rigged, the broker's screwing me. No, the broker's not screwing you. They have no reason to screw you. I mean, there was one article about a couple of months ago about a broker doing that. But for the most part, if you look at a reputable broker and you talk to people in our chat groups and you use the resources available, you'll find that you won't have problems with your broker. The problems are more of how you're trading, why you're trading, and what you're doing. So when we talk about market makers, those are great for small accounts because what it allows you to do is they'll give you a better spread most times during the liquidity, but at the same time you're not paying commissions, which are sometimes there's a disadvantage to commissions at a smaller account because you're constantly just paying that amount up front, where here if you just use the spread, you cover your spread and then you're done. Non-dealing desk brokers, these are the ones that you would want to look for. So if you're looking for a broker, you're looking for a broker that offers a non-dealing desk. And what that means is essentially the broker is sending your quotes into the market. They are not acting as a market maker. They are just sending your quote into the bigger foreign exchange, and what they're doing is they're allowing that quote to be taken by another liquidity provider. So they're actually not worried about your money. They're not trading against you, or they're not providing the money for you to win or lose. It's going into the market itself. So people tend to think that the non-dealing desk is a lot safer because the broker really has no, what's the word? They really have no incentive for them to try and screw you over. Where if they're a market maker and they've got 1,000 people in their brokerage and they're all hammering the same position, it might be costly for them because now they're going to have to pay that liquidity out, where a non-dealing desk broker wouldn't have to pay that liquidity. But once again, brokers understand the math and the probability behind retail traders, so they're essentially taking that gamble if they're acting as a market maker for you. It doesn't mean that you can't beat them up, because I've beaten them up. A lot of people have beaten them up. It just means that they know the majority of people won't beat them up. I think as time goes on, if you find that I think as education increases on the internet and as people get smarter, I think you're going to find a lot of brokers closing shop or consolidating, because I can see it now, just what we do. We have a lot of successful traders, and as the accounts grow, so do the lot sizes, so do the profits, because once again, you're a small fish in a big pond. Even if you're making $1 million a day trading retail Forex, you're nothing. And it sounds funny, but you have to start adjusting your mindsets. You don't move the market until you're moving hundreds of millions of dollars. So if you're making $1 million a day or 50,000 a day or $100,000 a day, they are basically, they don't care about you. You're not big enough. So, maybe in your microcosm and when you see things that are happening, you might think it's great because we as human beings don't see that large sum of money, but in this space, $1 million a day is nothing. So I always laughed when people said, oh, Ted, you're trading such big lots, you're making big money. And I said to myself, I'm like, well, it's $1 trillion market. I have like 1%, less than 1% of this space, not even a percentage point. So really, how much do they really care about me? It's just more of social media's perception at that point. Okay, so there's a few questions. If we are giving 50-to-1 leverage, can we close trades with profit and change to 100-to-1 at some time? No, your leverage always stays the same, so you have to select that before you open your account. NDD brokers are the same as ECN brokers, essentially, yes. So their ECN is straight to market as well. So brokers are just middlemen to consolidate your transaction. Yes, essentially brokers are basically bringing a buy and a sell position together. So in Forex, you need a seller and a buyer. So you need a winner and a loser. And people always say, well, who's losing if we're constantly winning? It's understanding the risk management behind that. So if you understand essentially, if you look at Chase Bank or TD Bank or a large institution, they're holding big positions. And those big positions can afford hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of drawdown. So you can have a position that's open the wrong way, and we are collectively winning as a group. So say, for example, everyone starts working on Tuesday morning. So I have all the groups up. By Tuesday morning, we all start working, and everyone understood everything that we talked about today, and we all started trading. We could all win together. There is no doubt in my mind we would win together, because there's an institution somewhere, or there's a large dark pool, there's a large amount of money moving in the opposite direction. So think of us as small minnows, and think of the banks as big whales. As the big whales cut through the market, we're just taking small scraps here and there. And that's what you're doing here. So when you look at why we're winning and who's losing, it's the institutions that are losing. Now, institutions get you back when there's high volatility news. When they make the markets move in such a dramatic fashion, they push you out. They'll make sure that you're not able to enter trades because the prices are too bad. There's certain things that way where, you have to be more selective, and that's where risk management comes in. Okay, so just answer these questions. I don't know if Capital Index is NDD, sorry. Can't hear me, I think it's your connection. Is IC Markets NDD? Yes, it is. Will you provide some info on these NDD brokers for opening an account? Yes, I will in the next couple of slides. Does leverage matter based on your strategy? No, leverage does not matter based on your strategy. It's basically how much you're going to have available for your trades. So, you could trade the same pairs as me every day, but you just may not be able to open a larger lot size. You might not be able to have as many positions, but your strategy can still be intact. Okay, so here are some brokers. This is from dailyfx.com. So you'll see here that there is, this is a relatively older slide, so you might find that some of these brokers are no longer available. They may have changed. So my recommendation always is to look at DailyFX. There's another website called Forex Peace Army. Open up those websites, and they will provide you some information with regards to brokers and how they work. You'll notice with the U.S. brokers, once again, there is a requirement that they can't go to a certain leverage. So they have to be regulated by NFA or CFTC, and they're basically subject to strict leverage restrictions. So you'll find that they're only going to offer you 50 to 1 if you're in the US. So a lot of people who trade Forex in the US are very upset about that, but I believe Trump is signing documentations to adjust the way the banking industry works, and that might open up your leverage. But US people only can trade with US brokers, and you're stuck to that leverage. So I apologize, you're all going to hate us because people are like, this sucks, I can't trade more. It's also a blessing. You won't blow your account as fast. It'll take a little bit more time to build up, but we hope Trump does what he does and changes all that. So once again, you're looking at dailyfx.com to give you that information in terms of the way, the various brokers. Once again, you'll talk to people in the chat rooms to talk about the various brokers and get their opinions on that as well. Okay, so if the dealing desk offers a better spread, why would people choose NDD? NDD allows you to access the market right away, where a spread, you might just get the market price. FXCM is no good. Yeah, like I said, this is an older slide, so it's not necessarily the best one. They had fraud last month. There's a question here, would you be risking too much with that sort of mentality on leverage? Really, it's up to your own personal risk profile and how you want to define where you want to be with that risk. There are US brokers with more than 50 to 1. Yes. Once again, people in the chat rooms will be able to help you, but for the most part, there are things that are happening that will allow you to be there. Okay. Can you trade a broker overseas if you live in the US but have an overseas bank account? Once again, you have to go through their compliance department and figure out if they accept your documentation. So I think that is a question for the broker. I think the best feed for trading is True ECN or DMA. Yes, that is correct. I believe that as well. International brokers. So once again, here are some other brokers for international. So you can see the leverage goes up. You have 1 to 500, 1 to 400. Once again, FXCM had a lot of issues, so they're not using them anymore. But these are, like I said, this is an older slide. I didn't update it. I have some new slides coming up right now that will give us that information too. So give me a second. Get to the next slide. All right, so brokers that we currently use in the Forex family. ICmarkets.com. It's an Australian broker. It's been open since 2006. It's very well recognized. We've had no problems there. Owanda.com. Only issue is has low leverage. This brokerage here at the end, Vibs. I know the owner of this brokerage out of the UK. I actually speak to him on WhatsApp. So if there's anybody in Europe or anybody that wants to use them, talk to him and say that you know me, and he'll help you set it up. They do 400 to 1 leverage, but in terms of the, I guess I would say the commission rates, things like that, he'll work with you. Originally, like what happens is, and this is the reason why I don't recommend brokers, is because if I recommend brokers, technically I could get a rebate. Like if I go to icmarkets.com and I say use this link, and that's what a lot of Forex marketers do, they'll say use this link, and then that connects them to an affiliate program, and I get a percentage of your spreads or your commissions that you've paid to the broker. Not your wins or losses, but just what you've paid into the broker. The broker gives me a bit of that for referring somebody into the program. I don't do that. I don't think it's right. So what I told with James here, I let him know, because he asked me about that. I said, I will bring customers to you, but I want you to treat them and give them the discounts. So here's an opportunity for you to get a rebate instead of me getting the rebate. I'd rather have you guys get the rebate. I don't need the money for that. And I don't want to take it from you. So it's an opportunity for you to get some money back based on your trade volumes, things like that. But you can also talk to the brokers individually and talk to them about rebate programs as well for yourself. And if you're mentoring people and you recommend brokers and you want to take rebates, you're more than welcome to do that as well. The thing that I talk to a lot of people about that bothers me is I just want people to be upfront with that. Like if I told you right now to everyone join IC Markets and I was taking a rebate, I would disclose that to you. And that's the reason why here I disclose this relationship with you, is because if you want to reach out to that brokerage, it's because I know them personally. I'm not getting anything from it. I want you guys to take the benefit. So that's sort of the difference. So like if you want to refer people and you want to make money on the side doing that, there's nothing wrong with that, but you should be disclosing that. I think that's a prudent thing to do. US people can't use VIBs. Wanda, I believe, has US customers. Let's see, what would you recommend for a Canadian customer? We use IC Markets. I think that's fine. A lot of Canadian people use that. Owanda is okay as well. In Canada, we have a lot more options. So you'll find a lot of people use IC Markets just because the spreads are really good. UK broker won't accept US clients. Wanda, I think, allows US customers because of their leverage. Okay, so there's a couple of things here. FX Choice is good for US clients, so that's people are saying. Also, Trader's Way is good as well. So FX Choice and Trader's Way, I have a couple of people from my previous webinars jumping in, helping me out. Thank you guys. They're saying that those are good providers as well. Is XM a good broker? I've heard good and bad things about them, but really I think we have a lot of people in here that will help you with choosing your broker. Yeah, Trader's Way is 21 and older as well, if you're interested in them. Singapore, I think you're open to a lot of brokerages similar to European clients as well. Stay clear of Iron FX. Okay, there you go. There's another one. So there's, like I said, as you get into the groups and as I bring the more seasoned traders into them, those are questions that you can ask them and they'll give you those things. Like I said, I use IC Markets and Owanda. Those are the two that I use. A lot of people use IC Markets. My corporation uses IC Markets, so we've had no issues with them. So, I mean, if you want to look at that. Vantage is a decent broker. We had a problem with one of the students. They had liquidity issues, so they took some money from that student, so we weren't happy with them. But you know, it's really up to what you want to do. LMFX is also good, so that's LMFX, and it has 0 to 1 pip spreads, so you're okay there. Is there a benefit to using multiple brokers? If you want to diversify, you can, but not really. I mean, it's really up to you. It's personal preference. So like I said, when in doubt, use forexpeacearmy.com. So here's, I mean, once again, you can go on there, type in the broker, go read, go review. This is an opportunity for you to look and see exactly what's happening with what's going on in the markets. And you know, there's people there that will give reviews. So write this website down, copy it, whatever you need to do. They are a good resource. Like I say to people, Google will help you as much as I will. So you know, sometimes you go journey on your own and find some information, and this is a good place to give you. Does VIBS give U.S. clients 1 to 200 to 1 leverage? They don't allow U.S. clients, but they can give you up to 400 to 1 leverage. Does IC Markets allow you to scalp? Yes, they do. IC Markets allows you to do everything. They are huge. They move a lot of the money. There's also another site here. It says www.100forexbrokers, 100 being the number, Forex Brokers, all one word, so that's all together. .com is the same as let me just copy this to give everybody. Basically, it is the same as Forex Peace Army. So give me a second. Let me just copy this. I'll send that to everybody. There you go. There's a question here. I trade with European brokers and I don't really have spreads because I pay $7 commission for 1 lot. Yep, that's fine. We pay that as well. You might want to talk to that UK broker, VIBS, and see if they give you less than that. Definitely look. They have unlimited lot sizes as well, so they'll take as much action as they want from you. So it's really personal preference once again. Like I said, choosing a broker is like choosing a car. You know, there's many cars that people like. Some people like one broker over another. You know, it's really personal preference. If you have a broker that's working for you, keep with them. If you want to change brokers, ask questions, get people's opinions, see what people think. Like I said, I'm going with what I know. There might be better options that I don't know of. These are what works for me. Okay, so, you know, going into the trading platforms now. So we're talking about trading platforms. So we have MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, FX Trade, and CTrader. So CTrader is probably the top trading platform, or the newest trading platform out of all of them. But most of us today use you know, MetaTrader 4 in this instance. So with that being said, once again, when you sign up for your broker, in the sense that you log in and you get a brokerage and you do all that, basically you can download the platform right from the brokerage, so you're able to access it. So whatever broker you're using will have all these platforms available for you. It's really up to you to choose which one you want to use and how you want to use it. But like I said, you need a brokerage to get into the FX market. So choose your broker, then download all the software, and you'll be set up relatively easy at that point. The reason why we use MT4 a lot is because it's open source, and what I mean by that is open source coding. So there's a lot of information, and we have this in the Google Drive. There's a lot of scripts, and what I mean by scripts is there's a lot of automatic programs like opening positions, closing positions, setting stop losses. Those can be integrated into MT4, and sorry, MT4 is MetaTrader 4, so I'm using that as the acronym. You're able to do that, and you're able to use that to, you know, speed up your trading, do certain things, manipulate stuff. There's a lot of also I would say indicators that, you know, if you want to use, there's special cheats that you can have on your screen, like the pip count, the time to candle close. So there's a lot of opportunity to use MetaTrader 4. A lot of coders like that because they code scripts and they're able to manipulate the software to allow them to trade a little bit better. Have you used TradingView to plan your charts? I haven't, but lots of people do. That is an option to plan your charts if you want to use TradingView and just execute on the brokerage. So you can use TradingView, sorry. MT4 versus MT5. So MT5 is now is a newer version of MT4. So there are some changes. There just isn't as many people coding on MT5. Maybe it's changed in the last year, but last year with MT4, it was still very popular at that point. Can we find any info on the Google Drive about understanding what servers to choose and what work with? Yeah, so on the Google Drive, there is a section that has new trader information, and all this is there as well. Okay, so in a few examples that you provided, the trading platform was proprietary. No trading platform is proprietary. It means that they've just put it's a client, and all they've done is put their shell on it. So MT4 is an open source client. So if you go to a brokerage, you can download their MT4 or MT5 or C Trader program, and then they just brand it their program, but it's still MT4 or MT5 or C Trader. C Trader is interesting because it gives you a little bit more variables in the way that you can open and close positions, you can catch reversals faster. It's really a personal preference when it comes to what you want to do, but there aren't, I think Owanda and maybe one other or two other brokers have proprietary software, which is different than MT4 or MT5 or C Trader, but for the most part, all brokerages allow you to link up with these softwares, and it's just a standard issue. Like everybody just follows the same sort of thing. Okay, so MT4, so like I said, once again, it's the most popular out of all platforms, and like I said, the best feature of MT4 is open source development. So you can write technical indicators if you choose. You can create expert advisors that automatically open and close trades. And like I said, once again, it is a separate client to the broker where you open and close trades. Unlike binary options where you go on a website, here you're able to go through and actually do it on the MT4 program itself. With MT4, I mean, I find it, I like it just because it has an easy layout. Once you get used to everything, you'll find that you're able to see what's going on. Things become easy. You have a lot of shortcuts. You're able to click through different things. If we turn around and we look over here as an example, you can see here, this is where you would open multiple charts. So this is like your whole toolbar across MT4. So you open multiple charts. You can have your data information. You have your crosshairs over here. Here's where you have more data. Your navigation pane where you can open up your scripts or open up other accounts. Here's your terminal view where you're able to see your buy and sell trades. You're able to place new orders. You can enable an auto trading. So if you're running a script or you're running an expert advisor where it's going to actually auto trade for you, you click on this and MetaTrader 4 runs on its own. These actions over here on MetaTrader, you have your line charts, your candle charts, or sorry, these are your line, your candle, and then your sort of your graph charting. So you can choose what you want to use. You can zoom in and zoom out. I'll go through some examples as I start to use MetaTrader. I'll show you guys how it does. You can tile your screen so you can have multiple charts open and tile them. Here's you can scroll here where you can scroll to open up more of the right side of the chart, so you're able to see sort of what's going on in the future, not the actual market, but you have more space to do a little bit more analysis. Once again, your timing, you're able to stack your charts. Here's just a standard mouse pointer. You have crosshairs to help you with your you want to measure price, or you want to measure the amount of pips. I'll show you this as well. Here are your lines. You want to draw all your various lines on your charts. Here's some I guess some indicators that you could use as well. Here are all your time frames. So you have a minute time frame, a 5-minute time frame, 15-minute, 30-minute, hour, 4-hour, daily, weekly, monthly. These are all your time frames, so you can keep adjusting through your charts, and you're able to see all that information in front of you. And like I said, as we start to go through the technical analysis portion of this, I will go through all those items for you and show you how all that information works. So don't worry if you didn't get that all right away. You will as you start to use MetaTrader 4 if you choose to use it at that point. So basically, people say, how do we use MetaTrader 4? Like, what are we doing with it? Essentially, you want to make your color scheme as easy as possible. So as an example here, I've shown essentially just a what I would say a version of MetaTrader where you're able to then say, okay, this is what you're doing. So what I would do here, I'm pull up my MetaTrader, and you can see here as an example, I would turn around and click properties, and I've changed my colors. So once again, I've changed the background, I've changed the colors of my buy and sell candles. I've been able to go through that, and you'll see that I've adjusted it for my eyes. Now you can turn around and you can change that, and you can say, okay, I want it to be purple. That'll change purple. So, I don't want purple, I want red. So I would go in here and I change it back to red. So you can make all these adjustments in here, and you can do all that for what you want to do. There are also, all what you want to do here. You want to show certain things. You want to show your ask line, show period separators, show the grid. So you can click on all these and really customize what you're doing at that point, and you're able to see all the information automatically. So this is something that you're able to do on MT4. So once again, when we look at MT4, I'm in my own account right now, and I'm able to see here. So if I was to turn around and use a crosshair, I would click on it, and what I could say is if I took a buy position over here and I went up to this point here, you're basically looking at like 2100 pips at that point, or 22 movement, right? So we're going from 1197 to essentially 1118 at that point. So you're almost like at a $2200 22 movement on gold. Once again, if you want to turn around and draw some lines, you have that opportunity too. You can then turn around and double click on your line, and you can turn around and then say horizontal properties. You can change all that information. You can change where it appears. So you can see right away with MetaTrader, using it as a guide for your trading, there is a lot of information available for you to do that. So you're able to go through that and say, okay, that makes a lot of sense in that point. So like I said, this is something that you can do on your own. You can choose how you want to have your property set up. You want to go through all that. Once again, in the chat rooms, we'll be able to talk about that a little bit further, and we'll be able to customize what you need to. And like I said, we have a wide range of information on the Google Drive that will help you with this, as well as like a user guide for MetaTrader 4 in the new trader section. So you can download that and read it and understand really how MetaTrader works if that's what you want to use as a trading platform. So once again, like I said, here's your chart, just a simple chart. You're able to see the movement on it, and you're able to review essentially what you have here. Like I said, on my charts, these are black and white bars, same setup, but once again, you have all this information at the top. You can remove all of that. You can change all this around. It's very customizable, and once you get used to it, or if you get used to using CTrader, you can make all those changes as well. So really, like I said, it's personal preference, and it's just going through this as you start to progress as a trader, getting comfortable what you like. I originally liked black and white, now I like red and blue. So I mean, maybe I'll change it to green and green. Okay, so with that being said, that wraps up topic one for right now. So that's pretty much introduction of what's Forex and what to expect. At this point, I give you guys a 10-minute break. Right now I have 11:50 a.m. Eastern time.